Greetings. Today I want to talk about something I really don't like about big cities, and that is the lack of community and the amount of anonymity that comes with it. I was thinking about how in a lot of traditional societies, the matter of honor and people's reputations mattered a lot. Now, honor is a very similar concept to reputation. Honor includes that aspect of reputation where it's about how other people view you, which is what reputation is about. But I think honor also includes the aspect of how you view yourself. And for the more religious and spiritual, it also includes how the gods see you or how God sees you. And for those who believe in ancestor worship, it also includes how your ancestors see you, but it revolves around that concept of reputation. So when I was thinking about traditional societies, I was thinking about how in these societies, people knew who each other were. People in traditional societies lived in close-knit communities. Most people in historical times, in traditional times, they lived in rural areas where people knew each other. The people you would see in your day-to-day life, you would know, and they would know you as well. And even for the people who lived in towns and cities in these traditional societies, these were much smaller towns and cities than the big cities we have today. And in these towns and cities, a lot of people knew the people they saw in their day-to-day life, and these people knew them back. So when it comes to the matter of honor and reputation, because you would encounter the same people in your day-to-day life, your reputation matters a lot, your honor matters a lot, because people know who you are and they will remember you. So when you do good things, when you do heroic things, that affects your reputation, your honor, positively. People are more likely to respect you, people are more likely to admire you, people are more likely to trust you, people are more likely to want to be with you. So there are rewards to doing good things and heroic things in these honor-based societies, in these traditional societies where your reputation mattered a lot. Likewise, there are negative consequences to doing bad things, to doing cowardly things in these traditional societies. Like I said, because people knew who you were. If you did something bad, people will remember it, and that will affect your reputation negatively. So people will be less likely to respect you, people will be less likely to admire you, people will be less likely to trust you, and people will want to avoid you if you did bad things. So there are negative consequences to doing these bad things. So in these traditional societies, there are rewards for doing good things because your reputation mattered, because you lived in communities where people who knew who you were, and there are negative consequences to doing bad things because you lived in a society where people know who you are. So you don't want to do bad things and you want to do good things because you want to have good honor, you want to have a good reputation. Now let's talk about big cities. So in big cities that we have in the modern world today, a lot of people are basically anonymous. Unless you're someone famous, people you encounter in your day-to-day life, people you see in the streets, people you see walking around the city, they don't know who you are. You don't have a reputation. You're basically anonymous. If you do something good, people might see it and they think, oh, it's good, but you won't see those people again. So it doesn't really affect your reputation. And likewise, if you do something bad, people will see, oh, you did something bad, but you won't encounter those people again, most likely. So it doesn't matter because you won't encounter them again, so it doesn't matter what they think of you. And they might even forget you because they won't see you again. So because of that, you take away that incentive of good honor, of doing good deeds and doing heroic deeds in these anonymous, atomized big cities where individuals are not really part of communities where people know each other. And likewise, You take away the negative consequences, the disincentives of doing bad things, of doing cowardly things, not helping people, etc. And that is why, if you've noticed, when you're in big cities, a lot of people tend to be quite rude, especially if you compare them to more rural communities where people know each other. People tend to be less helpful, people tend to be less considerate, etc. And people are less likely to really go out of their way to be friendly, to know their neighbors, and to be polite and be considerate of others in these big cities. That's something I've noticed. Perhaps you've noticed that as well. And I've also noticed that in rural communities where people know each other, it's the opposite. People try to be friendly, people are more polite, people want to help each other. And likewise, people avoid bad behavior. They don't want to do these bad things. And maybe you've noticed that as well. So that's something I wanted to talk about. It's that in big cities, people are anonymous and atomized, and you take away that concept of, or you weaken that concept of honor in these people. Their reputations don't matter as much because they're not part of a close-knit community where people know who they are. And that's why and as a result, you take away these incentives of doing good and heroic things, and you also take away these negative consequences of doing bad and cowardly things, so people feel free to do whatever they want. And in a way, there is good things to this, but there's also bad things to this, and in this video I'll talk about the bad things, and that is because people don't care what other people think of them. They're not afraid of doing bad things, being rude, not helping people, being inconsiderate, etc. And they also don't have that added push of the desire for good honor, of doing good things, of helping people, of doing courageous things. So that's something I wanted to talk about. And I think that the lack of community itself is a bad thing, because people, human beings, are meant to live in communities where they are part of, and where people know who they are and they know other people. You're meant to live like that. Human beings are social creatures. They're not supposed to be isolated, atomized individuals in big cities. They're supposed to be part of communities, and they're supposed to have community relationships with other people in their communities. And I think it's really anti-nature, the way a lot of big cities function, where people aren't really part of big communities, or any communities. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. And it's against the human experience, because the human experience includes that social aspect, that aspect of being part of a community, being part of something bigger than yourself. And I think big cities take away from that. Now, I would like to point out that there are smaller communities within big cities. You can be part of a community, maybe at work, maybe at school, maybe in social groups. That works, but because big cities are so big, people can easily switch communities if they don't like the community they're in. People can switch jobs, people can switch schools, people can switch friends, switch social circles, and of course there are benefits to that, of course, and there are benefits to living in big cities, but there are negative consequences as well. There are negative aspects to it. And in this video, I focus on the negative aspects of big cities. And because it's so easy to switch communities, people care less about their communities because it's easily interchangeable. If you have a group of friends, you don't like them, you can change your group of friends. If you have a job and you don't like the people, you can change your job. And if you're in school and you don't like your classmates, you can try to switch schools. And because of how interchangeable things are, people care less about their communities, and people don't really feel that concept of honor and reputation because they can easily switch social circles. And like I said, it is good that you have those options, but the thing about having so many options is that people care less about the options they do have, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. And I've noticed that in big cities people behave more poorly than in more rural areas, and in more rural areas people behave better, and you feel like the community is a big family. And that's how humans are supposed to live. The human experience involves being part of something bigger than yourself, being part of the community. So that's something I wanted to talk about today. And like I said before, there are benefits of living in big cities, but there are negative aspects to it, and that's something I wanted to talk about in this video. So if you enjoyed my video, I hope you enjoyed my video, then like my video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.